playful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. This some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yes, people, man. What's going on, man? What's going on, man? I hope everyone's blessed. I hope everybody is doing well. I was supposed to do this stream as a live, but I've just not really had the kind of time, so I'm just recording this now, post it whenever. Hopefully you guys will obviously still, you know what I mean, lock into this. But as always, guys, man, please make sure you do smash that like, you share, and you do subscribe to the channel, man. So obviously, you know, Champions League is coming back this week. So I wanted to take a look, at Liverpool's, I don't want to say group, because obviously it's not a group that we're going to be in now. It's going to be everyone's in one league table, and of course, we've got our fixtures. So I wanted to take a look at the teams that Liverpool, of course, have to face, in this Champions League. So it's not 6 teams now, it's 8 teams, or 8 fixtures, should I say, that you've got to have 4 home, 4 away. Think of that what you will, guys. If I'm being totally honest with you, I know some of us don't like it. It is what it is, kind of thing. We're here now. And then obviously we'll take a quick look as well, at, the favorites, would I say, for the Champions League. Now, so obviously you can see here, this is kind of the format of the Champions League. So the new edition will follow a new format, which will see a 50% increase in matches. So yay, for those who want more games. I guess you'd have to talk to players, but some players have come out and said, listen, look, they're already playing too many matches, so they're not really too happy with it. So, and I get it, I fully get it. It is quite a lot of games that these guys have got to play, so there is that. But on the flip side, to me, this just seems like the Super League. Even when you see the way that even the way it looks here, this just reminds me of what the Super League was actually trying to do in the first place. And teams would have gotten a lot more money for it as well. So, hey, but who am I to really say? You can see here 36 teams. It says currently 32 teams are split into 8 groups. So obviously now, where there's just everyone in this one group, 36 teams, each team will play 8 opponents, 4 matches at home, 4 matches away. Simple enough. The top 8 teams in this group will qualify. So they'll go through automatically into the next round. Teams finishing 9th to 24 will enter a playoff round for the 8 remaining places, which will then, of course, mean that there will be 16 teams, which then takes them into the round of 16. So obviously before that, it will be technically, I don't know what they'll call it, but I guess, yeah, the round of 32 prior to that, for the teams from 9th to 24, that will be the round of 32 for them. The top 8 teams will automatically qualify, so it's almost like getting a bye into the next round, effectively, if that's easier for people to be able to understand. So yeah, that's literally it, if I'm being totally honest with you, when it comes to the Champions League format. Like, I feel like, maybe because I play Football Manager, as you guys already know, I feel like they over-explained it, because and I might have not explained it properly. I might have not articulated it well for people to understand, but there's 36 teams. In those 36, the top 8. So think of the championship. Let's make it easier for people. Think of the championship. You've got top 2 qualify, or top 2, obviously they automatic promotion. Then the next, I think it's 4 teams, they then go through to the playoff round. So think of it almost in that kind of format, which is the top 8 automatically through to the next round. 9th to 24, yeah, they've got to now battle in a playoff, so to speak, to then get into into the next round. And then of course anyone below the 25 to whatever 36, they're obviously automatically out. To my knowledge, there is no like before you'd get knocked down to like the to the Europa League. I don't feel like they've got that anymore. Again, I could be potentially wrong, but I've not seen that part where, yeah, if you get knocked out, then you're into the Europa League. So yeah, and obviously they put it here. Obviously, this is at the beginning. This is just them putting all the teams into thing. You can see here, it says it on the right-hand side, round of 16 straight away, knockout round / playoffs. And then, of course, the rest of the teams will be eliminated. So really, you want to be in that top 8, if I'm being honest with you. And when you look at this kind of league table here, you will start to, in your head, most of us, if you've looked at it like this, because I had to look at it like this, one, to see who the hell was even in this in the first place, but also just to kind of easier for me to understand. I'm a visual person, so I need to see things before I can really fully grasp and understand what's actually going on. And so when I saw it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. So then people started picking out, pick 8 teams. If I had to just pick, and obviously we'll go into like the odds and stuff like that in a minute. If I just had to pick 8 teams, I would be like, without looking at fixtures, I just pick 8, like the best 8 teams on this list. I would say, we'll start right from the top. I would put Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Barca, Bayern. So what's that? Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, Barca, Bayern. That's 4. So I've got 4 more. If I had to pick 4 more teams, Inter, Liverpool, Man City, Real Madrid. That's just me picking off the top of my head. If I had to pick 8 teams, you might disagree. There might be someone else, whatever. But yeah, if I just had to pick 8 teams straight off the rip, those would be like the kind of 8 teams. But I don't think it's going to be that, though. I actually don't think it's going to be that. I think there's going to be other teams, thrown into that kind of mix. But listen, that's the Champions League for you. Do you know what I mean? That's why, they call it the biggest club competition, in the world. So yeah, that's kind of like a little bit of like a background into, what we're going to be kind of going into, and stuff. But yeah, we'll obviously move on to taking a look at some of the teams. Well, not some of them, all of the teams that Liverpool will have to face, in this Champions League. Some good fixtures in there, to be fair. Some really, really good fixtures. Obviously, we've got the one tomorrow in AC Milan. I won't talk too much on AC Milan because I will be I will be doing a match preview for that. So don't want to talk too much on them, but we know who AC Milan are. They've got quite a few Champions Leagues themselves. So I've just shown like a couple of players from AC Milan's team. So you obviously got Rafael Leao. Obviously Pulisic is in there, Theo Hernandez. They've got quite a Loftus-Cheek is in there as well, Tomori, a few other players that we would know. They got a few players in there that I'm like, okay, yeah, decent team, man. Decent little team. Obviously, Okafor as well. I forgot to say him as well. Reinders, Yunus Musa, big up Jerry, because remember him. Yeah, man, they've got a solid team. I wouldn't say they've been doing that well, if I'm being honest with you, this season. I know obviously they've only lost once, but they've drawn the other 2 games 2-2 against Lazio and Torino in their first game, and obviously lost out to Parma. So not really looking too great, obviously, in the league. And this is only after the first 3 games, so I don't know what they've done in their last match, whether they won that game or not. But I'm just more focusing on the first 3 games that they've had, this season thus far. And yeah, currently, well, at the moment, at the time of this video, they're sitting in 14th place. So yeah, not looking too great. But listen, you going away to the San Siro is never going to be easy. It's never ever going to be easy. So Liverpool will have a job on their hands. Obviously, next up, we have got PSV. PSV, to be honest with you, they're at this current moment in time, they're looking pretty good so far this season. You can see that they've won most of every game. I think it's bar maybe 2, no 1. I think they've only lost 1 game, and obviously that was against Feyenoord, which is actually quite funny when you think about it. But you can see they look 7-1 victory, 3-1, 5-1, 3-0. They're packing teams. They are packing teams, and they are quite an exciting team to watch. From the highlights that I saw anyway, they look like quite an exciting team in terms of the way that the manager wants them to play. Of course, they've got in there Bakayoko, as we already know. And that's a player that Liverpool have, of course, been looking at. Lozano, he reminds me of them old school, like, football manager players that he's just been about since been about, kind of thing. He's just one of them kind of guys, man. But yeah, they've got a decent team, man. They've got a very, very decent team. Currently sitting, top of the table. 4 games, 4 wins. So looking pretty at this current moment in time. So again, going to be another tricky team, from the Eredivisie, but hopefully Arne Slot, I mean, I'm hoping he's going to be able to use that, like because he knows that league and he knows the team. Obviously, every team is going to be different, after a period of time. But just in a general sense, I'm hoping that we can use that, to our advantage. Next up, of course, we've got Lille. Lille been all right this season. Been okay. I wouldn't say they've been poor or anything like that. Obviously, last few games they have lost. I've lost out 3-1 to PSG. They did lose out 1-0 to Saint Etienne. Saint Etienne actually were not doing well in the league, actually, to be fair. But Lille currently at the time of this video sitting in 7th position. So again, they're all right. I don't envisage too much problems against a team like Lille, or I don't expect to envisage problems. But hey, we just finished coming off losing to Nottingham Forest. So what do I know? At this point, you just throw everything in the air because you're just like, I don't know what to think anymore. You know what I mean? Obviously, of course, star player here, I would say Jonathan David. They got Angel Gomez as well. Jonathan David is, again, another player who at some point we need to see you making that big move, or can you make that big move is really the question. And they've obviously got Mbappe's brother, which I found very, very, very interesting. I did not know that Mbappe's brother currently now plays for Lille. So let's see. When we play them, I hope, if he's obviously available for this game, I really do hope that we can actually see him, because I've not seen him up close like that. So I would love to see what he is all about. Next up, we got Girona. Obviously, one of the surprising teams of last season, obviously making the Champions League. I know they lost out to Barcelona, to be fair, at the weekend. So I know that's another L for them. But they have beaten, Sevilla this season. I know they lost out, of course, to Atletico Madrid. Got a draw against Real Betis, beat Osasuna this season. They're currently, again, time of this video was posted out, they were sitting in 5th position. They might have been moved down, to be fair, since then. But yeah, man, they were a very surprising team last season. Very, very surprising team. They were a team that you never really looked at them and thought, right, obviously they did have Savio, of course, he's now at Manchester City, or Savinho, whatever the hell he wants to be called. But they've got a couple of good players in there. Obviously, Brian Gil, former Spurs player. Abel Ruiz as well, striker, pretty decent. Romeu in there. Ivan Martin, I like Ivan Martin. He's actually a decent player. And obviously their left back, Miguel Gutierrez, I think he's decent. This guy right here, I think he's a decent little player. So again, just one of those one to watches. But so far, there's nothing really, when you're, all the teams that I've shown thus far, nothing really that should be too difficult, if I'm being honest, for Liverpool, if I'm being vague. And that's not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. I just don't envisage too many problems with those type of teams. But hey, like I said, we just come off losing to Nottingham Forest. What the hell do I know? Next up, of course, we got Bologna. Bologna, again, and just like Girona last season, another one of those surprising teams. Remo Freuler, there in the middle. I remember seeing him during the Euros, and I thought he looks like a decent little midfielder. I say little, but a decent midfielder. Dan Ndoye as well. Castro, another decent player. Got a couple players in there. I'm like, fair enough. This season, not really been. Yeah, I mean, the dog's bollocks. If I'm being honest with you, you can see here currently sitting in that relegation zone in Serie A, -3 goal difference. I don't know what their last fixture was, or who their last fixture was against. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll go and double check that. But yeah, definitely a team that last season they were good. I'll put it to you that way. Last season, I thought, yeah, the way that they were kicking ball last season. But then obviously lost a couple players here and there. Obviously, is that going to have a toll on them this season? They're in the Champions League now. They've got to be able to contest with both Syria and the Champions League. Listen, it's only the beginning of the season, so there's nothing necessarily to really look at and say, oh my goodness, they can't do this, that, and the third. It's just more now they've got to understand, this is the big leagues now, guys. Like, I mean, you get to this position, yeah, these are the kind of things that, you're going to have to worry about. And do I think they've got the squad for it? No, I don't. Currently anyway, but again, it's the beginning of the season, so we shall wait and we shall see. Next up, we have got RB Leipzig. Mr. Openda Sesko. Two really good players that I like. Javi Simons, another good player. I would love Liverpool to sign. Haidara as well, another good player. Lukeba, as we all know, Liverpool fans would really like us to sign a left-sided centre-back. So he would definitely be on my shopping list. They've got a good team. They've got a decent team. Obviously, at the moment, sitting high up in the Bundesliga. They're a good team. RB Leipzig are no mugs. I know they're not a team that obviously you're expecting to potentially go far, but they're definitely a team I expect to do well. To do well, if I'm being honest with you. What well looks like, I don't know. But I do feel like they will do reasonably well this season as well, kind of thing. But of course, we shall wait and we shall see. Now we're getting to the really, really well. We started off with obviously RB Leipzig. Now we're getting to the really tricky ones. You just knew. You know what's so crazy? when they would when they were doing this whole draw thing, in my mind, I was like, Liverpool gonna get by Bayern Leverkusen. I can just feel it. I can just feel that they're gonna get a Bayern Leverkusen. Just to, I'm saying, Liverpool, Xabi Alonso, all of that, back in the Champions League and rare tear, all of that kind of good stuff. I knew it was gonna happen. So said, so done. Liverpool get them in this group. Obviously, Granit Xhaka, Florian Wirtz, Frimpong, Ngapié, I know a lot of people were looking at him. Grimaldo, Alex Garcia is a decent player as well. A Boniface, Leverkusen, again, the way that they play football, the way that they do things, they're not going to be an easy. We know what they're about. I know they've lost already this season in the Bundesliga. Forget about all of that. I think, Xabi Alonso is really going to have them geared up, for this Champions League campaign. Because I, in my eyes anyway, I feel like he would also understand that, listen, we don't want to be one of those, one season wonder kind of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want to show people that we are really about. And it's not just a Bayern Munich thing in our league, so to speak. We can compete with the Bayern Munichs, even if we're not spending as much as they are. We can compete with them on both a football and not even financial level, but just on a football level. And we can show that we can also do our thing in and around Europe. Now, obviously, we know that they went unbeaten in the Bundesliga, last season. But this season, of course, that's record's already now been broken. So, yeah, I think now, because like last season, it actually got to a point where you're like, bro, I bet you just lose. Like, I bet you just lose now, because it's just getting annoying. Last minute goals and last minute wins, 96th minute you're scoring. What is going on here? But now it's done. It's almost like with Liverpool losing, no goals conceded, kind of thing, haven't lost the game and all that kind of stuff. You're like, all right, now that's done. Let's just have our season now, kind of thing, instead of having that almost extra pressure of, it's not just the pressure of just winning. It's like, oh, but make sure, you don't concede, or make sure you don't lose a game, because you've gone this long without doing so, and, yada, yada, yada. So now that pressure, in my opinion, has now gone, I feel like Xabi Alonso should feel a tad bit more, freer, so to speak. Last but not least, the Don Dadas. These are, no Savage is smiling right now. These are the kings of Europe. They're the best team. They're the kings of the world. They're the kings of this. You're talking about the biggest club side in world football, Real Madrid. Trust Liverpool to get Real Madrid as well. I could have told you that too. But so said, so done. We've got them. Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Valverde, Tchouameni, Rudiger, Militao, Courtois, Carvajal, Modric, Bellingham. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. It is actually ridiculous. If you could create a team on FIFA, they are the FIFA team. Like, let's even go back here. This is the FIFA team. Like, this is a FIFA team. This team don't even have Mbappe in this picture, because he obviously just signed this season. Obviously, Cruz is obviously retired now as well. But it's, this team, Arda Güler, forgot about him. Camavinga, forgot about him. Alaba, forgot about him. Like, look at the names I'm saying I forgot about. I forgot about him. It's ridiculous, man. Honestly, it's so ridiculous, man. Like, yeah, I envy this football club, man. You have to. Like, how couldn't you? This is the biggest club side in the world, man. This is what winning looks like. Look, the winning looks like this. You want to what does winning look like in the dictionary? Just show a picture of Real Madrid. That would be the club that people should look at. That's the club. That is right there. If you want to know what winning in football looks like, if you want to know what being number one in football looks like, it's Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even like Real Madrid. But you have to respect. You have to respect, man. You have to respect what they've done. You have to respect what they do. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, we've got them as well. We've got them at home. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that, you know, kind of works in our favor, if I'm being totally honest with you. But let's wait and see on that, man. Let's wait and see on that. Now, here's obviously the odds that they've got here. If I take this banner off for you guys to see the bottom one. Excuse me. You can see these are the odds. We'll just look at the winner. So obviously you can see Man City are favorites, Real Madrid's in second, which I found quite interesting, especially because it was all 7% off as well. But fairs. Inter in third, Arsenal in fourth. Barca, Bayern Leverkusen are ahead of Liverpool, which again I found interesting. I found interesting. To be fair, it's all the teams that I said. If you had to pick like a kind of a top 8, you might swap out a few. Obviously, PSG and Bayern Munich with I think, yeah, PSG, Bayern Munich, and I can't remember. There's one more other team because Inter Milan. No, because I had Atletico Madrid in there. So who's the other team? Bayern Leverkusen were the other team. But yeah, very, very interesting. These are the odds. Obviously, let me know in the comment section. Like, do you agree with this? Like, you can see it, as I say, on the right. Forget the quarterfinals, all that other rubbish. But just in terms of winner, these are the kind of percentages that it's funny how they've just got 0 for everyone else and 0.1 for like Sparta Prague and that. Like, I find that so jokes. Ain't nobody care about all of that. But Juventus at what? They've got Juventus at 1.3% chance. Obviously, this is also based on the fixtures that these teams have, by the way, because obviously that plays a part in everything. So maybe they look at these things as well to see they might have a tougher path to get to the final, you know, in the first place. Milan 0.6. I was looking at some of the clubs who are outside of there. Aston Villa, don't forget they're here 0.2s. But yeah, I mean, the top 3 teams they've got is Man City, Real Madrid, and Inter Milan. Fairs. Am I angry at that? Not really. Would I add anyone different? Man City and Real Madrid, that's maybe the percentage I would make it a bit closer. But yeah, I would probably say, yeah, Man City, especially from what they've been doing at the beginning of this season. They're definitely like that on it. Inter, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Inter, Arsenal, Barca. I'm surprised with the Barca one, actually, to be fair. Because this was done on the 10th of September. We're now on the 16th of September. Okay, fairs. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, of course, what you guys think in regards to that in terms of the odds. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow, guys, obviously for the AC Milan preview. Our first game back in the Champions League. So hopefully, you know, it's a dub for Liverpool. We'll talk more about it, obviously, but I'm just hoping we don't have that same kind of performance that we put in against, you know, Nottingham Forest. But yeah, it's going to be tricky in the Champions League, man. In terms of my expectations for the club, I think, to be honest, looking at this again, yeah. If like in terms of how they've divvied it up, yeah, maybe like I'll give us like a 4.6. Yeah. Like I hear what people say, yeah, Champions League and Liverpool, whatever. Like I said, man, you don't know, we don't know nothing. I promise you, Champions League isn't what you think it is in your head. I'd like from what I've seen of Champions League over the years, there is only one team that is, and they're not even it all the time, but there's only one team I can say have a level of inevitability about them, and that is Real Madrid. That's the only team. Yes, Liverpool have been to finals. Guess what? We've won 2 in my whole lifetime, which is more than others, by the way. But just in a general sense, we've won 2 and we've been to bare finals. So it's not always as easy as you think it's going to be. And you don't know who you may get, you know, potentially in those finals anyway. But Real Madrid usually, I mean, you know, back to back, you know, Champions Leagues and all that kind of stuff. They're the kings. You know, then I look at teams, like I said, like a Manchester City. And I think all the other teams, they're good teams, man. I do think, I'm not saying we can't beat them, by the way. I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. Liverpool could beat anybody. They really can. On any given day, Champions League nights, yes. All of that cute stuff, great. But in a general sense, when we talk about winning the actual competition, actually like winning it, I would say we're I would say I would give us a better chance than Bayern Leverkusen anyway. I would say that much. But yeah, listen, man, I'll just be splitting hairs. But let me know in the comment section what you think. What are Liverpool's chances? What are your expectations? I do expect us to at least. I expect quarterfinals. After that, I'm good. I'll be honest. I'm good with that. I'm super good with that. Quarterfinals and then do whatever after that because I don't know who we're gonna get. So let me know what your expectations are for the Liverpool's Champions League campaign this season, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.